across the country. Julie Walker, New York.
Just in time for Christmas, two couples have tied the knot in Australia's first same-sex weddings under new legislation allowing gay marriage.
You may kiss your beautiful bride.
Same-sex marriage was recently legalized in Australia, and two female couples were the first to tie the knot. Among them, Lauren Price and Amy Laker.
We just wanted it to be simple, and that's what we've done, and it was like this. We planned this for about 18 months.
They exchange vows in Sydney. Most Australian same-sex couples have to wait until January to tie the knot due to a 4-week waiting period, but these couples got a special waiver. Mona Rivera, ABC News.
You can send your tips and your photos to your story at cjad.com. From the Dormez-vous Weather Center, sunny skies for the rest of the day. Maybe some light snow as we get into the evening. Our low tonight is minus 15. Periods of light snow will continue tomorrow with a high of minus 10. On Tuesday, we'll get heavier snow for part of the day, but at least it'll heat up with a high of plus 2. Right now, it is minus 13 degrees downtown. I'm Benson Cook. Next update at 1:30. Breaking news as it happens. News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
When the big story breaks, we get on it.
Democrat Doug Jones has won Alabama's special Senate election. Many are seeing the Republican loss as an embarrassment for the president, who endorsed Moore despite a litany of sexual misconduct allegations.
Around the world or in your backyard.
The federal government has agreed to give the provinces a 75% share of the tax revenues from the sale of legalized marijuana. Ottawa will keep the remaining 25% to a maximum of $100 million a year, with any balance over and above that going to the provinces and territories.
Breaking news updates every 15 minutes on the radio and sent to you by email. The Voice of Montreal. News Talk Radio. CJAD 800. The opinions of the commentator or commentators are solely those of the commentators and not of CJAD 800 or Bell Media.
The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800. Your real estate and mortgaging questions answered with Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages. Here's your host, Chantal Desjardins.
Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Show here on CJD. We've got the good rock music that my friend Terry Kilakos played on his guitar this morning.
Pretty good, no?
Right?
Yeah.
Do you play guitar?
No.
No. But if you did,
I would play that song.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker, as well as a heck of a party thrower for the Christmas holidays.
It was a pretty good party.
It was a very good party. I didn't even get to stay for all of it because I had to wake up like a sucker at 3:30 the next morning for a morning show, and it was just getting going.
Yeah, it was actually, it was good. It was good.
What
it
did
was
I?
Really good, and actually we had some party crashers that came a little bit later, which was fun.
Like you knew them?
No,
they weren't actual party crashers.
No, it was actual party crashers.
No.
Yeah, full on. Like it was good.
And did you let them stay?
Of course, absolutely.
I
announced the party on the air.
I heard that.
So I was like, no, it was fun. And the best thing about that party was the Wonder Bar, which we did it at.
Yes.
Ended up closing yesterday. Was its last day.
Ever?
So we were literally the last party that was being thrown at that place.
What do you mean? What's happening to the
I don't
Wonder
know,
Bar?
but supposedly the Marriott bought them out or something. They don't want to have bars like that. So
you were the last party.
We were the last party. So it was like, woo, it was just free pour for everyone.
Because they had to get rid of the booze.
I guess so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed
So one
it.
shot was actually 3.
Yes.
And yeah.
I like that math.
Yeah. It was good.
Was it awkward when the party crashers showed up though?
No, it was so. I don't know. I was not in the best.
In a good state.
In the best state.
Oh.
So
Okay.
thank God for my responsible wife.
Well, we took photos at like 8:30, and even those, I was like, yeah, I can't post those.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We're gonna recap the year in mortgages and finance, and if you have questions at home, call us at 514-790-0800 or text CJAD at 514-800, and we're live on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to call it the Facebook anymore because I was making fun of my mom so much, who calls it the Facebook, that I've started to do it and I can't stop. So now this is like, if I do, there's going to be a jar and I'm going to have to put money into it.
It's okay. You know what? I actually started saying the Google this
The
week,
Google,
so,
because that's what my mom
because
said.
of you. So
she's trying to look us up on CJD, and she's like, I can't. I'm not good with the Google. So, yeah, Northeast Mortgages. Tell me a little market update. Is that what we should start with?
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so let's look at what's going on this year. I mean, this year was a little bit of a nutty year. If we look at the market update, what's changed in the last little bit, some numbers came out. They're basically saying that November, that just passed, record high. House sales, especially in Montreal area and in the rest of the country, just hit like crazy numbers. What's happening is I think people are kind of panicking. New mortgage rules are coming in at the end of the year, so that everyone's kind of scrambling to buy properties right now. So home sales hit records high in November. That was one of the big ones. And the other thing is the Canadian Real Estate Association is predicting a 5% drop in number of sales in 2018. Now, what's interesting, later on in the show, we're going to have Eleni Akrivos, my partner from Northeast Realties, who's going to be on, and she has some stats that almost conflict with that number.
Oh.
Yeah. If we look, the Canadian Real Estate Association is looking at the stats across Canada. The stats that we're going to be getting are more localized, and it remains to be seen what's going to really happen. All I could say is I'm predicting a greater drop than 5% in 2018. I don't think it's only going to be 5%. I think that CREA, which is the Canadian Real Estate Association, is dreaming if they think that it's only going to be 5%.
What do you think it's going to be?
I think that will probably be about more like 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why? Just because people are going to be afraid of these new rules? And
it's just people are not going to be able to qualify the same way that they were able to qualify before, right? So if we look at the last set of rule changes, and I've been talking about this every single show, I feel like kind of like a broken record, right? If we look at the last set of rule changes that occurred last year, that ended up causing a rush of people to flood into the market before the rule changes occurred. Once the rule changes occurred, it was like you could see tumbleweeds in banks and mortgage brokerage offices. I mean, when we started off this year, it was slow, ridiculously so. And to the point that right up until a certain time of the year, we were down by about 50%. And that was the same number that was being echoed across CMHC. It was being echoed in Genworth. It was being echoed in all the brokerage offices and in all the monoline lenders. So the monoline lenders are those lenders that only deal with mortgages specifically. And then later on in the year, as things started to kind of stabilize and people realized that the sky is not falling and, things are going to be okay, now all of a sudden sales started to go up. Then the government comes out and says, by the way, December 31st, 2017, we're changing the mortgage rules again. Now people that were thinking about buying next year flooded the market again. And that's why we end up having months like November, which ended up hitting record highs.
And did you notice that prices were going up? Like, were the sellers saying, hey, everybody wants to buy a house, I'm going to jack up the price of my...
Yeah, it wasn't all houses. And I think Eleni's going to be talking about this a little bit after the break. But basically, the house prices that were ranged between about $300,000 to about $450,000 really shot up. And houses that should have been selling in the 250s, 275s, all of a sudden went up as well, right? Because people were like, well, there's no inventory in the 300 to 450 range, so we're going to come in and we're going to sell our house a little bit higher because they were able to get it.
Wow.
And Eleni will talk about how there was actual, we would put up a listing, and within 72 hours it was sold, and we had multiple offers coming in. And a lot of times the houses were actually selling over asking price.
So you're saying if I was going to sell my condo, I should have done it in November?
Yeah, condo market is a little bit different, but your condo is more like a house, I find. I mean, it's like...
Thank you, Terry. I feel like it's very homey. That's not what you meant.
That's not what I meant. You know what I meant.
Because it's a loft. It's like 2 floors, so it's not just like
exactly,
a small
exactly. Like those little tiny like condos.
Little cubes.
Little cubes. Those kind of had a little bit of a harder time selling in some cases, but places like yours, yes, it would have been a good time to sell it.
I'm wondering about that, actually. So I live right around here in sort of the village / plateau. Is that what area this is?
By the way, Chantal has literally never invited me over, even though she was supposed to when we set up her mortgage.
Back, that was like 5 years ago or something too, right?
Shameful.
I know. I sent you an invite, sent both you and Moran.
I don't even know why I have you here. I should have Dan's invited me over.
But I'm wondering, because my place is a bit bigger than some of the small little cubes that are being put up, but maybe, I don't know if people are going to want the big loft with no outdoor space or the little cube with the...
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what your needs are, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's important, and this is something that people don't really think about. We've had married couples come in, and they say, well, we want to buy this little condo, and it's fine for us right now. And then I'll sit down with them, and I'll say, are you planning on having kids? Are you planning on having a dog, a cat, a fish, birds? I don't know. And they're like, yeah, we want to have kids. And I'm like, well, you're going to outgrow this space. Well, we'll sell it. No, it's
bad
not
idea.
Yeah, it's not going to sell, and you might actually end up taking a loss. Actually, you will take a loss. And we sit down, we do the numbers, and they realize, maybe we should go for like that one extra bedroom. So those little places, they have a place, maybe for the bachelors, maybe for people that don't want to have families. But for the most, you
don't want to buy a condo for like 2 years and then sell it.
Exactly. Definitely.
2-year commitment. That's
definitely not.
Like having kids is at least a 2-year commitment, right?
I know. That was like, I was going to say something.
Okay, so when we come back, we will have your business partner, Eleni Akros, also at the Christmas party.
Yes,
she was. She was wonderful.
She was actually responsible.
She was responsible.
I was quite impressed.
Well, that's good. One of us had to be, right?
Yeah, I was pretty much the only one that was not responsible.
That's the voice of the always responsible Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages. You can call them with all your questions at 514-680-4674. Unless you've got a question right now, then you can text us at 514-800. We're going to take a break. We're going to check on the roads. When we come back, Eleni will join us. Right now, here's Kira Yeager.
Good afternoon. Well, we do have some slowdowns out there, although they're not too bad. Over on Décarie North, you're backing down to around...
I don't see the live on the Northeast Mortgages page.
Oh, it's not on Northeast Mortgages.
Oh, maybe that's why I don't see it.
Terry Kilakos is...
Oh, I see. So, does he know to get...
Yeah, he's
got her?
Call her.
Okay.
I don't know if he's got her. I don't see any line active.
Well, there we are.
Yeah. So, you could see all the comments.
Is Eleni ready to go here? Or? I love the look.
Do we have a hot mic? Are we on?
Again.
Yeah.
What's up, people?
So, a few shout-outs.
So, what do we got?
Shout-outs? So
We've got John Jr. Burke. Shout out to you, Wendy, and Terry. Who's me?
Oh, man.
Are you giving yourself a shout-out?
Sorry,
Is that what's
I
happening?
didn't see them. I'm not seeing them. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hey, Lior. Oh my God.
Oh, there we are. We're live. I guess I should have washed my hair. I always forget that this is also TV. It's not just radio. I can't mail it in.
You can't just have a face for radio.
I can't just have a face for
Hey,
radio.
Christina, how are you?
There's a whole bunch more. You're skipping.
Why are you skipping them all, Terry?
I already did.
Do them again. Do them again.
Okay. That's it. I'll take care of the shout-outs.
I have a buyer looking to buy near the village. If it's 2-bedroom or more and over 1,300 square feet, please let me know if you sell, says Vula.
Ooh.
Grab his name and number.
I know, except mine's just like a giant open loft, which is only good for a couple or one person. Or a person with a dog.
What time we're coming back? 1:18?
Oh, we got a question. Yeah. Oh, the weather outside is
Yeah, we got a
frightful.
question, and the 808 guy, Vula.
Vula.
Perfect.
That's not a guy, that's a girl.
Vula is definitely a woman's name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I know. Eleni Akros.
Yeah, she will be on right. Is she on the line?
Yeah, she's online.
So do I have to do something to get her on the line, or do you just magically? I like it. I like how radio works. You're doing a great job.
David
Hello.
Simon is like the wizard,
Wizard.
He's the Wizard of Oz.
David is not sure about me. David is not sure. He's
I think you guys are... No.
David loves you.
Does he?
Yeah.
Love loves?
No.
Oh.
No.
Is it because I didn't wash my hair?
Yeah. Really? You didn't wash your hair?
Listen, I'm not up at 3:30 every morning for 2 weeks. 3:30. Do you know what happens at 3:30? Nothing good happens at 3:30 in the morning.
I can't hear the speaker.
Turn out that girl also didn't wash her hair.
It.
Look at the
Because we can't hear when
Oh
you're coming back.
Wow.
Can you listen?
I
Do
can
you want
hear.
me to turn it up?
I can hear.
Just
Like another touch?
yeah.
Like another touch?
I think that's a good touch. Touch is good.
So.
You got a couple of Facebook comments.
That's nice. A little sharesies. Maybe I should share it on mine, right? Yeah, probably. Share on a page. I'm so Facebook savvy. What else?
Somebody who is very concerned about
You guys see it. I'm gonna.
Concerned about what?
about you. That they're happy you're back.
Yeah, Sean Patrick Ferry. Good to see Chantal back home safely and back in the mix.
Oh, we got to do a show.
It's too bad it's
President of Northeast Mortgages.
That is the musical stylings, not of Terry Kilakos, because we've just learned that he was not musical at all.
No.
Did you ever
really.
play in school or anything?
Piano.
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to teach piano.
Ooh.
We could start a band just with
Yeah,
pianos.
I
Just
know.
a really lame band.
I know how to play Frere Jacques. That's about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your wife is looking at me saying he doesn't really know how to play.
No,
Hmm.
I really don't.
All right, well, you can't be in my band then. But you can be my mortgage broker.
There you go. I
Again.
can sing.
You can. No, still
I
no.
really can't sing.
I've heard you sing. It's not good. Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and a chartered mortgage broker. I'm Chantal Desjardins. And if you guys have questions at home, they're starting to come in. But 514-790-0800 if you want to be on radio. Or you can text us at 514-800 if you don't want to be on radio. Or people are starting to tune in on Facebook Live. Right, Terry?
That's
You're
right.
giving some shout-outs
Yep, absolutely.
in the break.
Yeah.
What should we do first? Do you want to get to Eleni or you want to get to these questions?
Let's get to Eleni.
Let's get to Eleni.
She'll take us to the news.
She's good like that.
I know she is.
Eleni Akravos, your business partner and my favorite person from the Christmas party, aside from you guys.
Okay.
Eleni, are you there?
I'm here.
How are ya?
I'm great. Can you guys hear me? I'm on Bluetooth.
Yes, you were loud and clear. So
Okay.
let's talk about your year in real estate and basically how you found it.
This year was amazing, awesome, crazy, huge. It was a super seller's market, just to sum it up. It was very tough on buyers, unfortunately. So the seller's market, which I'll get into a little later, basically drove up the prices of homes. So everybody's hearing it in the news, Montreal prices up. But there's a specific reason for that. Very tough for the buyers. And also, we saw more transactions actually falling through at financing. I think Terry had touched on that before, more than previous years. So it was a little bit of a weird year, like Terry said, because yes, prices went up because of supply and demand, mainly.
And why did you find so many fell apart at financing?
Well, I think that, like Terry said, the mortgage rules have already changed. They're continuing to change again. And people were trying to get in and, they may qualified for a little less than they were going for, so they were trying to go a little higher. And, we saw more transactions falling through because of financing this year, I guess because the rules are tougher. But in general, homes up until $500,000 were selling very quickly, very quickly. It also depended on the areas. So the numbers we're hearing in the news and reading, we have to be careful because they're very generalized. So you'll hear, for example, prices went up by, 6%, for example, in Montreal. But supply and demand is not the same in every area. So, for example, West Island, the inventory, so the amount of homes on the market that were active listings, were down by 30% in West Island. So Pointe-Claire, DDO, Dorval, any homes we would put up, literally, we would not only have offers, we'd have multiple offers. The demand also was, again, despite the mortgage rules, the demand is still there. People are still trying to buy a house. And it's actually, a lot of it is driven by the first-time buyers, right? So the first-time buyer, if you want to sell to the first-time buyer so that you can upgrade to a bigger home. But if the first-time buyer doesn't qualify for a certain amount, then the person who wants to upgrade, they can't move. So that's what we mean by it was a little bit weird. So the sellers who want to sell and get a bigger home, they're sometimes stuck. So I have a bunch of sellers right now who are not selling. They're holding on to their listing. They're not listed because they're waiting to find something to buy before they list.
Wow.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's creating a shortage of listings. So what happens is when a listing pops up, even with the mortgage changes, you still have the demand. So you have more buyers. They're all going for the same listing. So what happens is that drives the price up. So if you're a seller, you still can't go, crazy and ask whatever you want, but you are going to get more than you got last year. You're going to get maybe, depending on the area, 3%, 4%, up to 6 or 7% more than if you were to sell last year. So it's a huge change.
Hearing all this totally makes me think, how there's buyer's regret? I have should have sold regret.
No, I don't think so. I don't think.
No. You know what? It's gonna continue because this just started, right? Like Terry said, November the sales were up 5%. It was the biggest month in real estate since 2016, and it's not going to go away. So things might slow down a little bit because again in January the buyers are going to have to go through the stress test, right? Which I think Terry's going to talk about later. So I think for going forward, we might have a few less transactions in total. But that doesn't mean that if you put up your condo for sale, for example, you're not going to sell it. Condos, plexes, single homes, as long as you're pricing aggressively, which is another trend, by the way, that I've used myself, and a lot of the brokers, especially West Island, Laval, Île-Perrot, Vaudreuil, those are very hot areas. You'll notice that as a buyer, you need to be working with a broker. You need to be educated. Because right now in Montreal, we're playing the Toronto game, which is basically we're listing homes aggressively, really close to the market value, if you want. And what's happening is, again, we're getting a lot of buyers, and the buyer who wants it, well, they're going to overbid. So the seller's going to benefit. The buyer's going to pay a little bit more. So so that's what's happening. So that's another trend that you're going to see is the way that we're selling real estate, the way that we're buying real estate this year. You need to know what's going on because if you're a buyer and you're just kind of coming along and going to open houses on your own and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to make an offer, you're gonna get beat out by the other buyers who are working with a broker and know what's going on.
Or you're going to overpay, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you don't want to overpay too much. That's it. So the prices, again. It's not like Toronto and Vancouver when they went up, crazy sky high. Our prices have gone up moderately, like 3%, 5% in certain areas. Some areas are 2%. It really depends on the area and the supply and demand of your neighborhood, really.
Now I see here 12% of homes on the market were multiple offers. Did you experience that a lot?
A lot. I would say almost, I don't know, on 10 of our listings, I would say 8 had multiple offers. Yeah. And even on a condo. So even I had a condo in Côte-Saint-Luc that was on the market for 2016, almost, let's say, for 8 months. Didn't sell. We did revise the price to make it aggressive. And within a month, which is pretty fast for a condo, we had 3 offers. We had multiple offers on a condo, which I haven't seen in my 15 years in real estate.
Well, Eleni, we need to take a little quick look at the news right now. Should we have
I think she
Eleni
should
back?
stay on. Yeah.
All right, Eleni,
Yeah.
if you've if you don't mind staying on hold for a couple minutes, we'll welcome you back and we'll see what you forecast for 2018. And in the meantime, let's take a little look at news.
CJAD 800 wants to send you to the 2018 Carnaval de Quebec.
There's about 30 some odd people on right now.
All right, so okay.
A big shout out to Belvedere Inspections for listening. Thank you, Mark. I gotta get you on the show.
You gotta get who on the
I
show?
was saying
Mark Amaral.
if Eleni can lower her volume because there was
Oh right.
echo.
Can you ask Eleni to turn Marav says it's either a little echoey or...
I don't think so.
No, you guys don't
I
hear it?
didn't hear it.
Marav
Okay,
finds
maybe it was just here then.
I think it
to be
was-
a little
I think-
echoey.
Did he find that it was echo?
I don't know.
It's,
Do you find it echoey?
It's your headphone. It's
Okay, it's all good then.
Okay.
I think it was it's the
Yeah.
you're hearing it coming from here because I took them off at one point.
No, it was
No?
really...
Oh, was it?
If nobody else hears it...
Like, I guess it is a
Leor,
little, like...
hold on,
a little
Leor heard the echo.
Thanks, Leor.
Thank you, Leor.
That's Marav signing in with her secret Facebook account
Yeah,
under
seriously.
Leor.
Seriously.
Thank you for agreeing with me, Leor.
I think it's just like the Bluetooth. I think it makes it sound a little bit
Yeah,
less
yeah,
like...
yeah,
No, I think
yeah,
she
yeah.
had her radio on in the background.
Do you think?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess we could always ask her.
Yeah, if David
Yeah.
could just ask her, just to be on the safe
You know?
side.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you mind just asking her to make sure that she doesn't have
You
like a
see,
radio on in
even
the
Mark
background or
agrees.
something?
There was a slight echo.
Sorry?
Eleni is saying, nice seeing you at the party.
Oh, nice to see you too. Okay, I'm just, Marav asked me to ask you if you don't mind making sure she doesn't have a radio on.
Because some people like to hear themselves.
I hear you.
You know, and
then
it's,
there's like a little bit of an echo
yeah.
in the background.
Shout out to Maran Chaudhuri, who says, boss man Terry Kilakos. Okay, I don't think anybody wants to hear you sing this.
What? I think we should start a little choir with our only piano band.
I'll be right back.
What?
It's
What?
Okay.
why don't you go over there?
Oh,
Okay.
Terry, we don't need
Terry.
you anymore. Marav.
Welcome
Sorry,
to the
Terry.
Real Estate Show.
Yeah, you should.
Terry's gone, people.
Marav is in.
Okay, we gotta figure out a way to get rid of Terry so that I could take over the show.
Yeah. Well, we could just lock the door. I feel like that's all we need to do.
Whatever.
I feel like we don't
He's
need to
gonna be
overthink it.
knocking. It's a soundproof door.
Yeah.
Who cares?
He'll be banging on the
It's
door.
gonna be a bit awkward to have somebody standing there.
I don't know. Not if we just don't look that in that
Yeah.
direction. I think we'd be
that was-
fine. You know.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's it like to be married to Terry Kilakos?
Honestly, it's interesting.
Did a dream come true? Would you phrase it as a dream come true?
It is. It is.
That's nice.
It is.
That's
a dream
nice.
come
Yeah.
true.
Something we don't know about Terry. Give us a little tidbit.
I'm thinking, what's clean? What
Is he like?
He likes to hot tub.
He likes to hot tub.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Wow, and you guys don't even have a hot tub.
No,
so
we
you would
have a
just
hot
go
tub.
to
No,
the
no, no,
neighbor's
we
hot
have.
tub and
Yeah,
3 to
the
4 times a
neighbors.
week they come out and they're
Well,
like, guys, get out of our hot
Yeah,
tub.
we sneak into the neighbor's yard.
Right.
And,
Yeah, hot tub. Okay, so he's a hot tubber.
Okay, as long as he feels good.
Right.
A couple of times getting arrested is not the end of the world.
You know what? I think you probably get a warning the first couple,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
It's only near
exactly.
the end.
Everybody has strangers in their hot tubs, no?
Right. Now here's hot tub etiquette. Do you stay like just, I think doctors recommend like 10 to 15 minutes, or you stay for the hour until you get
No, we
pruny?
stay like 20 minutes.
Okay.
But if he's got friends over, then they get carried away and
Right.
end up staying in there for an hour.
And there's like a glass of wine, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're not gonna drink like coffee in the hot tub.
No.
That would just be weird.
Yeah, hot drink in the hot tub.
And you're
Are we
outside.
back on?
I hope not, because Terry's
otherwise
not
it's
here.
the Marav show.
Which I like it. You looked amazing at the Christmas party. So you got your
Professional hair by Deauville. Thank you so much, Giovanna.
Nice.
And professional makeup by Makeup from Maytel.
I mean, I think you look stunning all the time. But
I have to say, I look different from
you
every
did
day.
look different. You
I
looked
felt
like
different,
right?
but it felt good.
You
It
were
was
walking
nice.
around going like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
You weren't really doing that.
No,
That'd be
it
weird
wasn't.
if you were doing that. That'd be super, super weird.
Oh, he's back.
oh shoot.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So Terry, we got some secrets about what it's like to be married to you. Guess you're never gonna be going to the bathroom again. Leave us alone when we're live on the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
The Facebook.
Wow.
I think we're back now.
So, do you have any other things, or just sort of like a look ahead to 2018 for her? for Eleni?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. C'est tout.
All right.
Okay. Oh, you see, we got more viewers since I got on.
Oh, yeah? That's so fun.
I'm telling you,
Thank
the
you,
Mirage Show.
And again, I'm just saying this one more time. In 2018, if we hit 1,000 viewers,
Yeah, what happens? Terry will do
I'm
the show
wearing
naked.
no.
Doesn't want any lawsuits.
We want to make sure that the viewers continue to grow, not diminish, right?
So you're gonna what?
I'm wearing my Thunder Buddies onesie.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
No?
I showed it to you last time.
I don't remember.
It's from Ted. I have like that whole like pajama thing that makes me look like a.
Oh, the onesie.
The onesie. There you go.
Okay, that's fun. You should do
Yeah,
that. So what are
1,000
we at now? We
viewers.
have to get to 1,000.
So share with your friends, like the videos, make sure your friends are listening.
And Terry will wear a onesie.
And I will wear the Thunder Buddies
Right.
onesie.
I haven't seen Ted.
You haven't seen Ted?
I haven't seen Ted. I haven't seen. What's the other movie you wanted me to see?
Office Christmas
Office
Party.
Christmas Party.
I heard Office Christmas Party is epic.
Yeah, it's really funny.
I just haven't had time to watch movies. I mean,
Yeah, because you're responsible. Unlike me.
I'm working.
Who is-
Oh, this is why I don't have enough time to wash my hair. And you don't have hair to wash.
You're gonna
Yeah,
keep
but look, you
Eleni
see,
on
I
the-
didn't actually have time to shave my head. Normally
How
it's
often
like,
do you have to shave a bald head?
like twice a week.
Really? What if you use like Nair or whatever though? Can you,
That
can you do
sounds
that?
Oh my god.
And if it
Really?
leaks on your eyebrows?
I don't know.
Imagine.
I don't think it leaks. It's like a cream, isn't it? I don't
Okay,
think-
but if it does end up like,
well,
and
then it would
I
just
have
be like you. You would look very strange without eyebrows. It was just like your forehead would meld into your eyes, and it would just be like. Okay, so never a cream.
No.
Always a razor.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to continue this conversation, but we got a show to do.
All right,
so
let's
I'm
do it.
gonna put it on.
The Facebook.
Oh, we did have more.
Growing prize pack worth thousands of dollars. The more you give, the more chances you get. One person wins it all, and it could be you. 12 Days of Starlight is presented by the Tenequip Foundation. From the voice of Montreal, News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Honey, we should go variable on our mortgage. We'll save more money.
I prefer the security of fixed payments. Let's call Terry Kilakos.
I'm Terry Kilakos. Deciding between a fixed or variable rate is an important decision. Whether you're purchasing your first home or renewing an existing mortgage, one appointment with me is like meeting with over 20 financial institutions. Let me help guide you to make the right decision for your situation. Call me today at 514-680-4674.
Let Terry Kilakos and his team of mortgage brokers with Northeast Mortgages help you. It's simple and it's free. Call 514-680-4674.
What do I like the most about holidays?
Spending time with the family is a big one.
I guess the presents, but I'm a bit too old for that now.
Lots of things that I would like to buy myself.
Mobile games, probably. Tablets can be super useful.
Yeah, I'll go with that too.
I love the holidays.
Fido Holiday Deals are here. You can get an LG G6 at $0 on select 2-year plans. And eligible Fido customers can get an LG G Pad 4 at $0 on a 2-year data plan. Even a Scrooge would love that.
Yes, exactly.
Visit a Fido store. Conditions apply. Fido, go get it.
Northeast Mortgages presents The Real Estate Show with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos, live online and on CJAD 800.
Some very hard music for the Real Estate Show.
Absolutely.
I like it. That's Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. I'm Chantal Desjardins, your host. And we have Eleni Akrivos, your partner
Yeah.
at Northeast Mortgages on the phone right now. And Eleni, we've got some texts coming in for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where are the areas that prices have gone up the most? Hampstead, Côte St. Luc, NDG, question mark.
The
In what
most,
area?
honestly, is and even if you look at if you go online, Quebec Federation of Real Estate Board, they have all the stats there. If you're interested, they're all public knowledge. West Island was crazy this year. West Island, specifically Pointe Claire, DDO, those two were the most. Côte St. Luc and Hampstead, NDG, I mean, they're areas that are always in demand. And the prices have gone up slightly, but again, the major increases we're seeing is West Island.
And
again, it's the supply and the demand, right? It's those two things together, and that's why this year was tricky, weird, crazy, all those words, because you had to know like what was going on the ground. So from one area to the other, it's slightly different. Laval is another area, but again, Laval, certain areas of Laval, the more demand there is for an area. So for example, DDO Point Claire, there's good schools, people want to live there, they want to raise their families there, but there's not a lot of homes for sale because those people who want to upgrade are waiting. Either they don't qualify this year to upgrade, so they're waiting to put their homes up for sale. So because the demand is higher than the supply, this is creating the prices going up.
Okay, thanks,
so for
Eleni.
example, not to say that Hampstead and Côte Saint-Luc and NDG are not in demand, but maybe there's enough homes to supply the demand.
Okay, cool. All right.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Chantal was like, should we keep Eleni on for the rest of the show too? Eleni was supposed to actually be in studio with us, but she decided to spend time with her family for some bizarre reason.
What is it, like the holidays?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
Shameful.
Right?
Shameful.
Well, Eleni, thank you for being with us. And you can always reach Eleni at the office at 514-680-4674 or head over to northeastmortgages.ca.
Thanks, Eleni.
No problem. Are we talking about 2018 or you guys we're done?
No, we're done.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
I was like, I thought we were talking about 2018 and what's going to happen in 2018.
We'll talk about 2018 on the first show of 2018.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a good one. Cheers.
Okay, so Terry, you're
Eleni.
getting some Facebook messages.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to get to them because time does run out very quickly. Okay, first and foremost, we got a couple of text messages that came into the studio. If you're simply renewing your mortgage and your credit score has not changed, do any of the new mortgage lending rules apply? Will it be harder to renew my mortgage? No. The only problem is this is what people need to keep in mind, when the mortgage does come up for renewal, your bank will automatically send you renewal documents. If you're not able to switch lenders, now you're at the mercy of whatever that bank has to offer you, right? So it's not that it's going to be harder. You're not going to have a problem renewing your mortgage with your financial institution. The problem is that you're not going to be able to play that ace, to have that ace in your pocket where you're going to be able to say, well, you know what? I'm not happy with the rates that you're giving me. I'm moving to a different financial institution.
Right.
Okay. So there was that one. And there was another text that had come in.
We just got one saying in Candiac, how are the increases?
They've been going up. Even in
everything's going up.
Everything had gone up this year. It was a nutty year, especially towards the tail end of the year. Actually, going into next year in January, what we're going to be doing is we'll do a show specifically looking at all the different areas and what the increases were year over year. There was a text message that came in from Christina on Facebook Live. I heard it's going to be harder to get a new house. Is this true? Yes, it will be harder to get a new house in 2018, especially with the new mortgage rules that are coming into place. So, yeah.
Do you want to recap some of those rules?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I have them here, and I'll read them word for word. I'll be like, one of those boring people that reads things on the air. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, there we go. Okay.
Hit
so
us.
The OSFI rules. So OSFI is setting up a new minimum qualifying rate or stress test for uninsured mortgages. This is going to be the single most impactful change that's occurring. Guideline B20 now requires a minimum qualifying rate for uninsured mortgages to be the greater of the 5-year benchmark rate published by the Bank of Canada. So the benchmark rate is basically whatever that 5-year rate is that the Bank of Canada has. So currently it's hovering at $4.99. So either you're going to be qualifying at $4.99 or the contractual mortgage rate. So let's say your mortgage rate is 3% plus 2. So plus 2%. So if you're at $275, they're going to add 2%, and that would give you $475, and they're going to say, well, you have a choice between $475 to qualify it or $4.99. They're going to take the higher of the two, so in that case, it would be $4.99. If the rate that you were getting was 3.25, they would add 2% to that, bringing it to 5.25, and that's what they would use. Okay, so that's the big change that's happening right now, and that is for uninsured mortgages. So for people that have 20% down payment and more. The second thing that's happening is OSFI is requiring lenders to enhance their loan-to-value measurements and limits so that they will be dynamic and responsive to risk. Under the final guidelines, federally regulated financial institutions must establish and adhere to appropriate LTV ratio limits that are reflective of risk and are updated as housing markets and the economic environment evolve. So, all that fluff to say that the value of the house is going to be determined based on the risk of the overall mortgage transaction. Okay, this is something that's been occurring already. So when you have a very low credit score and you apply to CMHC or to anything like that, they actually run your value of your property through a risk assessment as well. And we're coming up to traffic, so what I'll do is I'll save the third one for after the break.
Okay.
All right.
That is the voice of the very knowledgeable Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. If you have questions, you can call in at 514-790-0800, or you can text them in at 514-800. And if it's after the show and you think of one a little later on, just look up Northeast Mortgages and call them at 514-680-4674. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get a look at Terry's perspective as a mortgage broker, how his year was and the challenges and what he expects coming up. For now, let's take a look at the roads. Here's Kira Yeager.
And I did receive a phone call from one of our CJAD listeners a couple of minutes ago. He was on 13 South and experiencing a delay over there. So we do have a collision over there. It's on 13 South.
Okay, Mike is hot.
Yep.
Last time you said, "Who's Mike?" the Facebook guy said, "Your Mike." No, he said, "Mike is hot." I go, "Who's Mike?"
Mike's hot. Who's Mike?
So Tony, I'll say this on during the break. So Tony is asking, what are the best things to do before you go in to renegotiate a new mortgage rate with your bank? Very simple. Don't go to your bank. Come see a mortgage broker.
But
hey,
can
John,
he negotiate?
What's that?
Can he negotiate, seeing as he's being held captive?
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Hi, Carl.
Shout out to Christina.
All right, so we'll just go through the.
Eleni asked a question on
Facebook.
On Facebook.
On the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
Will there be less first-time home buyers in 2018, and will this have a ripple effect on the second and third-time buyers being able to sell their home and move?
Okay. Myra just joined. Hey, Myra.
Hi, Myra. Like Myra from the Christmas party?
Yeah.
Hi, Myra.
Is everything based on the Christmas party?
Yeah.
Listen.
Good show.
It was very fun, the Christmas party, even though I only had one gin and tonic, and then I had to leave to go to bed. I don't even recognize.
By the way, you should have seen what happened to Myra at
What
the
happened to
Christmas
Myra?
party. Oh
happened
my
to her?
What?
lordy.
Nothing happened. You're making that up.
Oh my lordy.
You are making that up.
It's
So-
crazy.
You're just making that up.
She's a crazy party
Yeah.
animal. Yeah.
I don't doubt it, but I also don't think he's telling the truth. He's doing that thing with his eyebrows. That means he's lying. At the end of the show, do we say that we're wrapping up for a little bit?
Yeah, I think so.
The holidays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Myra just said shh.
This hour just flies by. I can't believe it's like 10 to 2 already.
Hey, Carl.
You've already said hey, Carl.
I said it again.
Maybe it's a different Carl.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all the Carls.
Yeah.
Although, really, how many Carls can there be? I don't know any Carls. Except for this Carl.
If you saw that movie that I was telling you to watch.
Which one?
There's this great
The
scene
holiday
in the
Christmas
Uber
party? Okay.
about carols.
Carols?
Carols.
Carls?
No, carols.
Oh, I thought you
It
said
just
Carl.
I did say Carl, but
Well,
it
why
just
are you talking
reminded
about
me of
carols
Carol.
then? That's like saying, hey, I was talking about Steve. Hey, did you see Ted? What? Who? It's what? Why am I so... What?
Wow.
So anyways, did you see see Sheila's text. As a first-time buyer, I find condo prices too high and just out of reach. Will it be better for buyers like me in January?
Yeah, let's go into that too.
But you have a whole bunch of stuff we have to cover. You have enough time.
We have a lot of stuff.
So,
We'll start with your perspective. How was the year?
Well, let me finish the OSFI rule changes.
Yeah, finish the OSFI.
I'll blow through that quickly.
Yeah.
You know what OSFI is? She's like, yeah, finish.
For the love of God, stop talking about OSFI.
Of the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions.
Maybe I'll ask you. Maybe I'll ask you what it is.
Sure.
Because I was wondering.
Sure.
I was really wondering.
Were you?
No, I'm not wondering. I would have been just as happy never knowing what OSFI stood for. But now I know. And because of that little tidbit that's stuck in my head, I won't. I'm taking the rest of the day off.
You're on. Look at this. 100 with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages.
I love that song.
I know you do. You were chair dancing or whatever that was.
Big shout out to David Simon.
For
I
the
love
musical
that guy.
stylings.
Yeah.
Seems like a rock kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strong silent type. I like that. This is the real estate show. We are not the strong silent type.
No.
We are the strong loud type.
Yeah.
That's Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. Were you dancing at the Christmas party?
No.
There was no dancing?
No, there was dancing. I was not able to dance at
Why?
the Christmas party.
Why not?
Okay, we're going to finish reading these OSFI rules, okay?
Tell
Because
me
this is
about-
much more riveting than...
Then what happened?
Yeah.
I think the party would be more
Yeah.
riveting.
Hold on, I have to give a shout out to Olympia. All our clients know and love Olympia, and she asked me to say, hey, okay, which is Olympia Karalekas. So that's... Anyways, okay. So, OSFI is placing restrictions on certain lending arrangements that are designed or appear to be designed to circumvent loan-to-value limits, okay? So this is the final rule change that's occurring. A federally regulated financial institution is prohibited from arranging with another lender a mortgage or a combination of mortgages and other lending products in any form that circumvent the institution's maximum loan-to-value ratio or other limits in its residential mortgage underwriting policy or any requirements established by law. So
let's say you were going to put that into a nice little bubble.
Very simple. You have a bank. You own a bank. Yeah, it would be good.
Is it
Just saying.
Desjardins? Because I'm Desjardins.
Ooh.
Somebody asked me that once.
No relation?
No
Okay.
relation.
Too bad. So let's say you have a limit. You say, I'm not willing to lend, we're not able to lend more than 70% loan to value. A lot of times what banks were doing is they were bringing in another lender that was going to lend an extra 10 or 15% down. So now they're circumventing their limits, right? So instead of only lending 70, they're going to 80 because they're sharing the risk with someone else. They're not allowed to do that anymore. However, this does not apply to mortgage brokers. Mortgage brokers will be allowed to sit there and package together mortgages with two different banks.
Right.
So
Okay.
it should be interesting. That's it.
And if you're
Those are the
wondering what
mortgage rule
OSFI
changes.
stood for,
Really? Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions.
now you know. In case
There
you're
you go.
wondering, you know. Okay, so from a mortgage broker's perspective, 2017, how'd it go?
It was, if I look at who is the biggest supporter of mortgage brokers, right? So if we're looking at which banks mortgage brokers use the most, it's monoline lenders. Monoline lenders are lenders like First National, like the INGs of the world. Once upon a time, ING, it's Tangerine now. These are monolines basically mean that the only thing that this bank will do is put out a mortgage. So someone like First National or MCAP or any of these virtuals, that's all they're doing. They got hit really hard with these mortgage rules changes that occurred last year. Share prices dropped. There was a whole slew of things that happened. Rates went up. It was a disaster. Mortgage brokers who relied solely on those banks, let's just say, had a really hard time. We this year actually had to shift our focus away from the monolines and start focusing more towards traditional banks, even though mortgage brokers don't like to do that because we know that the traditional banks tend to have higher penalties, higher this, higher that. But we had to because there was no other choice with the new mortgage rules that came in. towards the tail end of the year, as we looked at the numbers of most of these lenders, the majority of them were about 15 to 20% down compared to last year. And in Quebec, some of them were down by 30 to 40%, which is a huge hit. So that gave that hit the mortgage brokerage industry pretty hard. Going into next year, it's going to end up being the same thing. But again, like I said, very slow at the beginning of the year, then it ended up picking up. I don't know if I actually answered your question because I went off on a rant, but
I like
hopefully
when you
I
rant.
did. Yeah.
I think that's good. Yeah, and you touched on some of your challenges that you faced this year.
Yeah. Challenges? The challenges were actually getting the mortgages approved. Because of the stricter guidelines, clients had to put larger down payments. A lot of times people, they thought that they were qualifying for one thing, but in reality, they were qualifying for something a lot less. So if you think about it, they might have gotten pre-approved in 2016, and then all of a sudden they come in 2017, they're like, we're ready to buy. And it's like, you don't qualify for this anymore.
Right.
Because of the new mortgage rules. So it's important that you stay on top of it. This year, what we actually did is all the people that were looking to get, that had come in for a pre-approval, once these changes occurred, once these new mortgage rules came into place, we actually called them all back and we sat there and we set them up under the new mortgage rules in advance to make sure that they still qualify. And they do, luckily, in some cases.
And now we touched on it earlier. Coming up in 2018, what do you expect? Do you expect a bit of a slowdown starting in January, February?
I think that although the sales are going to be strong, the only thing that's actually going to be leading those sales is the fact that people had already made the offers right now. So keep in mind, in real estate, things don't happen instantaneously. When you buy a house, you don't go to notary when you sign the paperwork. You go to notary months later. So right now, all the home sales that are occurring are only going to actually close January, February, March of next year. So because they're closing next year, we might actually have a strong beginning of the first quarter, but then it's going to die down, and I think it's going to probably pick up at some point in the late summer again.
And so if people are thinking of buying, thinking of selling, they've got 2 weeks until the end of the year.
Yeah, it's
mad dash to come see you, or
absolutely, you could have a mad dash. I mean, we're open. This is, I think, probably one of the first years where our office has been going full tilt, Saturdays, Sundays. People have made a comment to me. They're like, you have that the office is open 24/7. It's literally open 24/7 right now.
Wow.
We've had brokers meeting clients at 11 p.m. We've had people coming in 6 a.m. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And this is our last show for the season.
Absolutely.
We're taking a little breaks.
Yeah, we'll be back.
And then we'll be back, and we'll be fresh.
That's right.
And we'll be conquering the real estate market in 2018.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it for us.
That's it.
Thanks, Terry. Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. I am Chantal Desjardins. This is the Real Estate Show. You can give them a shout at 514-680-4674 any hour of the day, apparently, because they're open 24 hours.
Anyone that calls us knows that Olympia is on the ball. I mean, you can text and email any time of the day,
She will get back. That's a challenge now. People should text her at whatever time.
Yeah, Olympia just said, even live chat until late hours.
Oh, that's fun. NortheastMortgages.ca. Check us out on Facebook Live. And that is a wrap for 2017. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
The year-end celebrations are in full swing at Mercedes-Benz Laval. Until December 29th, get unbeatable prices on 2017 demo models.